Hello and welcome to episode 70 of the GrowCast Show. And time flies, isn't it? We've got 70 episodes. We've got 30 more episodes to go till the milestone episode of episode 100. And on today's episode, I have someone special. I attended his boot camp last weekend, exactly about a week ago, and I managed to get him on the show today. And he is none other than Caleb Sim, and he works with businesses and he invests in them. And he is also the founder of an amazing software called FCK, Funnel Creation Kit. So I'm so excited to have him here today. And Caleb, how are you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good, man. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And Caleb, maybe we start with last year, because we are in the early parts of 2025 right now. How was your 2024? I know you had an amazing 2024. How was 2024 for you and your businesses?
I think 2024 has been the best year of my life. So all my companies grew and we've had some really big growths, like doubling Privacy Ninja. We've tripled Social Jet. Thresh also has probably more than doubled. Genie has also grown. Not doubled, but we've grown quite significantly. So I think 2024 has been really, really great year on a business level and also on a personal level.
Amazing. And what would you contribute? What would you say contributed to this amazing growth for you and the businesses in 2024?
I was so hungry in 2024. I was so desperate for growth. I had just huge desire to really grow my company. So because I wanted, now I'm teaching people, right? I'm showing people how it should be done. So I have to create growth for myself. So I was really so hungry for that. And I did whatever now I'm showing other people to do. So that's why I did. And that's why there is that growth.
Very nice. And how did you get started in entrepreneurship?
So when I just finished my O-levels, I wanted to, because I didn't want to take money from my parents, right? Because we were quite financially tight. So I went to get a full-time job as a salesperson, and I was doing well as a salesperson. In fact, I was the top sales, even though I was only 17 or just barely turning 18, and my peers were in their 20s. And we were selling this software, the CRM, HRM softwares that were funded by the government grant. And so I was doing really well, and I was earning $1,000 per $5,000 sale. And I saw that the company was actually just outsourcing it to India. And I was like, hey, I can also outsource to India. Why do I have to go through this company? So I took my dad's company. It was a dormant company. I just took it. He didn't give me any money, but I just took it and I just started selling. And then I started doing really well. I started earning $10,000 a month at 18 years old in poly. So I dropped out of school and I was like, this is the path that I want to go down for the rest of my life.
And you've never looked back since?
Oh, I have at one point. So I kind of burned all the bridges because I dropped out of poly. So now I got no diploma, no degree. And when I left the army, I was scared, right? I was like, am I really going to do well in the outside world? So I went to get a full-time job as a salesperson again, right? So I was supposed to build a sales team for this startup. And I hated my job so much. I hated my boss so much that after 2 months, I just left. And after I left, that's when I went all in on my SEO business. And I've never looked back since then.
And it seems like, the common thing that your two startups, which seem to have, is the sales part of it. So what would you say makes you a good salesman?
I think for a big part of my career, especially at the start, I am naturally a bit of a salesperson. So I kind of know what people need to hear. I kind of understand their pains and the desires that they have. And I know how to touch on that. And I know how to bring across my solution as a very logical point of solution for whatever pain that they have. But obviously that isn't enough, right? We don't have a high closing rate, and that's where I cannot build a sales team because I cannot replicate what I know in my head and what to say to the salespeople. So that's where I started really studying sales and created a framework around it. So now, me selling now and me selling last time is very different. Last time I just wing it, go with the flow, try to be charismatic, but now it's like a science and a framework to follow.
And what would you say is the framework that you currently use to train your sales team and also apply it for your businesses?
Because I haven't done any sales in over a year, but this is the framework. So it's first intelligence gathering, understanding your prospect, asking the right questions, and then you diagnose the problem. You tell them exactly why they have the problem. And I believe that if you can articulate the problem better than your prospect can, they will automatically see you as a solution. So after we diagnose the problem, we ask, do you see why you now have this problem? They say yes, and then we show them the solution. Now this solution isn't buy my stuff. This solution is here are the exact steps to solve your problem, which is usually the framework they use to solve your prospects' problems. And then you show them that and you ask, do you see how doing this will solve all the problems that you have? And when they say yes, that's where we ask, would you like me to help you do that? And that's where we go in to state our offer. And then we ask for the close. Can I get you on board today? And let us help you solve that problem. So that is the framework.
And I think this is the same framework used for all the businesses that you have as well, right?
So what I did for Genia, because the first thing I wanted to do is take myself out of selling SEO because I don't want to spend any time on sales, right? So I documented every single sales call I took. I recorded them and I created a script. And when I hired a salesperson, I said, go watch that. And they watched that and they role play with me. And after he started closing also. And so I replicated that with Privacy Ninja. So before that was my CEO. So I taught him to close. I gave him the script and then he started closing. And then we said, okay, now you cannot sell anymore, right? For a business to grow, the CEO cannot sell unless one too many, right? So we created the script, hired a salesperson, and then he could close. And then we just started growing the sales team like that. And then same for Social Jet. And now basically any business I go into straight away, I give them what I call the one call close script.
Very nice. And I've watched the one called close script as well. And I think it's amazing. So I can tell how you've managed to sell 10 million worth of products and services to people, right? But I know now you do lots of webinars. So maybe what would you say is the difference between selling one-to-one and selling one-to-many on webinars?
One-to-one is so much easier. So one-to-one, because we always stop and ask the prospect this. Does that make sense? Do you see how this solves your problems? Do you want me to work with you on this? And that's where the prospect can come out with objections, right? You say, do you see how this solves your problem? And if they don't understand your solution, your framework, that's where they can say, hey, this doesn't make sense, right? This is how I want to do instead. Or you get to clarify that. But in a webinar, you don't have that opportunity. You have to finish your entire presentation. So if you make a mistake on like a sales call, you can correct it on the spot. Like, not saying make a mistake, when your prospect doesn't understand you right away on a one-on-one call, you can correct it right away. But on the webinar, so if some people are lost, then you have to go through the entire thing. And then at the end of the session, you go back and you look through at the comment section, you're like, oh crap, this is where a lot of people are stuck. It didn't make sense to a lot of people, that you've got to go and make that change.
Makes sense. I mean, I've done lots of webinars in my career as well. So I think we are one of the few who have actually sold 7 figures one-to-one and 7 figures on webinar as well. So for yourself, what would you say makes a good webinar presentation?
Well, I think all of us marketers who have studied The Perfect Webinar, right? By Russell Brunson. It's really about making it our own. Being able to, because again, all these frameworks are in, but people only buy when there is that new opportunity where you are not showing that you are just like better than your competitors, but you're different from your competitors. Because I think following a framework in a webinar is not that difficult, although a lot of people can't follow frameworks. But it's really about being able to bring across that what you're doing is different. It's a new opportunity. It's something that people haven't tried before. I think that is the key.
Makes sense. And have you watched Jason Flatlin's stuff? Because Jason Flatlin,
I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, Jason Flatlin is amazing. Jason Flatlin is actually the founder or the author of the book One to Many. I think you should definitely look at his stuff. He's definitely someone that you can learn a lot from. But typically on webinars, for somebody who wants to start on webinars, right, what would you say is the typical conversion rate on webinars? I assume it would be obviously lesser than one-to-one, but what's the typical conversion rate on webinars for you and for the businesses that you run?
Okay, so on a $3,000 product, we typically convert at about 10%. So, but I wouldn't encourage people to start with a $3,000 product. Mm-hmm. It is not easy. Yeah. To sell a $3,000 product one-to-many. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but our goal is always at 10%. We have certain offers that can go up to 15%. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 10, 15%. There are times where you sell nothing, right? This happens and you just got to accept that. Because when you test, like if there are, for certain campaigns that we're doing, we know that we are about 10%. That's great. But sometimes you want to try something new and that's where we try and it doesn't hit the market. There can be 0. So it still happens. Mm-hmm. And but this is business, right? That's what makes it fun. Nothing is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say if somebody, because you mentioned 3,000 obviously is a higher ticket when it comes to webinars, right? Higher ticket one-to-one is like, 5 figures and above, but higher ticket on webinars, 3,000, obviously a bit on the higher side. If somebody wants to start off with webinars, because, one-to-many is the way forward as well for most service-based businesses, what would you say is a good price point to start off with?
I think it depends, right? It really depends on your confidence level and the amount of value you can bring to people. We've tried a $600 product and the conversion rate between the $600 product and the $3,000 product is the same. But we lost a lot of money on that $600 product, right? Because there's just not enough money there. But that's because we're delivering so much value. And if you've attended our sprint, right, the amount of value we deliver is insane. People come up for the sprint, they immediately get sales.
Yes.
And so because we know the amount of value you're providing, charging $3,000 is a no-brainer because we provide upwards of $30,000 in value. So if you're able to provide a lot of value where people can take action to get big results, then go higher, right? But if it is your first time, you're not really able to provide the huge value, you're not that confident yet, then that's where you probably want to keep it under 1,000.
Yeah, I would like to think that as well, like below 1,000 for webinars for somebody starting off to, get yourself into the comfort zone as well. Because webinars also, I feel a lot of it has got to do with confidence, right? And I think sales is also about confidence. When you are, and then sales is when you got confident, then that's when you have the conviction as well. Because I feel in sales, confidence and conviction, they go hand in hand. So I would also think less than $1,000 makes sense. And maybe if you could share a little bit.
But even then, selling under 1,000 doesn't mean it's easier to sell. It's always about the outcome and the likelihood of achievement that you're offering to people has to be greater than what you're asking. hacking. So if you're selling something for $500, but the outcome is small, and the way you structure your offer doesn't show that they're necessarily going to get results, then even $500 people won't pay you. Even if it's free, people may not want it. So I'll say like, it does seem easier to sell below 1,000 because then it feels easier, but then again, you still got to have a big outcome and you got to be able to deliver on the outcome, and only then you'll sell.
So it means the value has
it's always the value
proportionally more than the investment that they're putting in, right? Yeah. And I think that's ties in very nicely with what you have in terms of your software, the FCK software. So tell us a bit more about the new software that you have, FCK.
Right. So FCK Funnel Creation Kit is it's a software. It's built on the high level platform, and what we do is we put in our templates. So over the last 4 years or 3 years rather, we've worked with a lot of different businesses. We've helped them build their webinar funnels, we've helped them build their consultation funnels, we've helped them build cart funnels, and so we know what works. And what we do is, and not just for clients, right? For my own businesses, because I invest in different businesses as well. And we partner with top speakers, top coaches, and we help them launch programs together. So we put all these templates that have already been working inside FCK with all our follow-ups, all our automations, all the CRMs, all already done within the bare bone of the high-level platform. And then we coupled that with a platform that we've recently built from scratch, which we spent a lot of money and a lot of time working on, which is Funnel Copy Kit, where again, it's kind of like having me as their personal or AI copywriter. Because again, copywriting is like the hardest skill to pick up, which is something I've been trying for a long time to train copywriters, but it's really difficult. So I was like, why don't we train an AI, right? That's what the FCK is about. We've got Funnel Creation Kit and Funnel Copy Kit.
Very nice. And how would you say that, because Go High Level or GHL is the main platform that a lot of marketers, a lot of people who understand marketing, and it's like a better version. Everybody was using ClickFunnels at one point of time, right? And then you've got so many different softwares, but obviously High Level have brought things to the next level, and I'm sure FCK also bring things to the next level. Yeah. But how would you say that FCK is different from other funnel building softwares?
Yeah, I think the one is, what we try to do is the implementation, right? Because there's now a lot of people that white label softwares and build their own softwares, but still most people cannot launch. Still most people cannot get results. It's all because it's always in the implementation. So one is obviously we have the funnels, which are very different from the market, like the consultation funnels. I don't really see anybody using a consultation funnels. There are a lot of high ticket funnels, but consultation funnels really specific to getting high ticket consults, super high quality leads, and like with unique angles. I think that's we're one of the few, if not the only one in the market. And we provide so much support in the implementation. So we have this event called the Implementation Sprint, where your entire funnel is built out in 3 days. Your offer, your transformation offer is built out in these 3 days. Your ads are shot in these 3 days. And then after, we even have a launch party, right? Which I hope you'll be attending later, where we all launch our ads together. And then we have daily coaching calls for different aspects. We have coaching calls for copywriting. We have coaching calls for tech. We have coaching calls for even ads. Like what software company even have a coaching call for ads every single week? So we have that. So the way I think about this is, how can I remove all possibilities of failures for the people that use my platform? And we've mapped out every single possibility and we've taken them away. So that's what makes us different.
Very nice. And I love the fact that you've got daily coaching calls as well, because when I saw it for the first time, that was what blew me away as well, that every single day you've got coaching about different elements of building the funnel. And I totally agree with you when you say that the implementation is always the hardest part. And that's what we do at the GrowCast Show as well. Like what you said before you came on board, right? Like, they come in here, our clients come in here, they shoot, and then, it gets stuff done. And that's what I enjoyed about the implementation sprint as well. And I also know that, you differentiate yourself from a lot of other marketers because you use growth hacking. So maybe you want to tell us a little bit more about that. What exactly is growth hacking?
So growth hacking is it's kind of like a lost art. So when I first started my career, and then after, because my first business shut down, right? The government grant stopped. So that's when I went into the startup world as an intern, and everybody was talking about growth hacking, right? Like Dropbox, growth hack. Now they got a lot of users, and then Uber came in, they growth hack, and then Grab, like all these startups were growth hacking. And then after that, people just stopped talking about growth hacking. But this was a term that was only used in the startups that allowed them to achieve exponential growth. So I've been thinking, how can we allow small businesses like us, like people who don't have $10 million in funding, people who don't have a $10 million inheritance, how can we grow our company fast without all this money? And what growth hacking is not incremental marketing where, you run ads, you get a bit of leads, where you focus on higher quality leads, right? A lot of people talk about higher quality leads, but then again, that is incremental growth, right? What I call incremental marketing. Funnels, ads, lead generation, all these are just helping you increase that little bit by little bit by little bit. What growth hacking we want is exponential growth. And how you achieve exponential growth is not just being able to double your leads, but it's also being able to charge twice as high as you did, twice as high as your competitors. And then not just that, is being able to close twice as much as you were before. So when you put all that together, together. So 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8 times your business, and that's exponential growth. So that is growth hacking, which is being able to double every element in your business so that you can achieve that exponential growth.
I love that. I love the idea behind it, the 2 times, 2 times, and 2 times. That really literally 8 times of growth, right? So I work, Caleb, with a lot of real estate agents and insurance agents. So maybe something relevant to them, which I would like to ask, where they can get some value from it. So from your experience, Caleb, how does a real estate agent, maybe we ask specifically for one for real estate, one for insurance, how does a real estate agent use growth hacking in their business?
Okay, so for a real estate agent, they can't really double their average deal size. Well, they could push people to new launch. How they can... for real estate, how they really grow fast is by niching, right? Because again, if you don't niche, you can't be different. Like, I think a lot of real estate agents, again, the way they analyze the market, if like you're from PropNext, I think almost everybody analyzes the same way. I guess there's some little bit of skill difference between them, but it's all going to be quite similar. So how I feel...
It's because they attend the same training.
They all attend the same training. The way they analyze that. I mean, if there are, I don't name agencies, but I know there are some companies that they have no clue. They just tell people, like, oh, go buy whatever you want. Yeah. But I know companies like PropNext, they're pretty good. Like, they have all their analysis and stuff. Then how do you stand out from the next PropNext agent?
Yeah.
And that is where your story comes in, right? So something that's really powerful for industries like that is your hero's journey, your backstory. Because a lot of times people, they want to buy from people that are just like them. So how they can stand out is they can look back in their journey. What are the problems that I've solved? Or where did I come from? And there will be a group of people that look at the story and say, hey, you know what? You are my beacon of hope. You're an inspiration. If you can do that, I can do it too. So it's not so tactical, about like, what is it that you got to do? I'll say is go back and look at your story. Can you create a story of how, you overcame a certain problem and then you found a solution through real estate? Like, that is the story that will make the difference for a lot of the real estate agents. But obviously the closing, but that is a whole lot of things. And obviously, because once you have this story, you can spin it out into your funnels. You can spin it out into your ads. You can spin it out into the way you close. A lot of real estate agents, their ads are boring as hell. They all say the same thing. Imagine if you can, here's how you can make 6 to 7 figure capital gains in the next 3 years. Every single real estate agent I see has the same headline. Or they will say this, HDB owners, if you want to upgrade to blah, blah, blah. If you just MOP, they all say the same thing. So you have to go back to your story, find an audience that would niche. And now I also see people niching, right? They say things like that. If you're a working parent and you want to make 6 to 7 figure capital, they all say the same thing. And then you just add, you're a working parent, you're a doctor. Like, it's everybody's doing the same thing, following that same template. And that's why they're struggling.
And because I speak to lots of real estate agents and, like I said, insurance agents as well. And they belong into 2 different categories where some of them, they believe in authority and personal branding. But then some of them, they're shy to show their face. They don't want to show their face. So what would you say? What advice would you have for real estate agents who want to build their personal brand and their authority?
Well, if you don't want to show, I guess the question is like, you want to make money. If you want to make money, you have to put your face out there. So like you want to build your personal brand. I believe personal branding comes from building your funnels and running your ads. That is, to me, that is the best way. I don't feel like you have to specifically do something for personal branding. It's like when you start running your ads a lot, when you're profitable, you can run your ads a lot, right? And then you realize that, hey, now accidentally everybody knows you. Mm-hmm. So I think that is the best form of personal branding. And then you still get paid for it.
Mm. And you also mentioned just now about going back and building your hero's journey, right? So that's what I like to call it the origin story. That's what when we do in our podcast with real estate agents, insurance agents, service based, I always talk to them about 3 to 5 questions about their origin story as well, like what we did just now. How important would you say is a person's origin story in their success? Or, how important is the origin story in the personal brand?
Oh, it's everything. Like I have had a situation, when I was in a mastermind in Koh Samui, where we were just introducing ourselves, right? And then we were sharing our problems. And then when I introduced my origin story, that's where this lady came out and said, Caleb, I need to work with you. I said, hey, I got nothing to sell you. It's like, no, just tell me, how much do you charge? I said, okay, 5,000 US a month with 6,000 set up. Okay, done. And then she just signed and then paid me 30,000 US on the spot. Well, that is how powerful your origin story is when people look at it and they say like they just fall in love with you as a person, and they want to work with you. Sometimes they may not see a difference. They may not even understand fully what you do. Mm-hmm. They don't really understand how you're better or how you're different, but they just love you as a person and they want to work with you. So that's how powerful that hero's journey can be.
Very nice. And I also, there's a lot of talk right now in 2025 about AI, right? So AI in marketing, AI in sales as well. So how would you say that AI can help business owners in growth hacking?
So one, there's a lot of things that we can use AI for, right? AI in copywriting, because that's something that we're doing. AI in the follow-ups, which you're very well aware of. AI in getting people to attend webinars, to attend calls. AI in the post-sale. AI in reducing the amount of workload. So I'm not a tech guy. I'm not an AI guy. Right? I don't spend my time like looking at it. I talk to ChatGPT about a bunch of nonsense every day. But AI is like, that's where my partners come in. So like my partner at Privacy Ninja, Andy, he's like a geek, right? He actually built out the whole funnel copy kit, but he led the entire project. And he's actually created this AI within Privacy Ninja that would, because all our DPOs are like 50 plus year old. So DPOs are the people that take care of people's privacy. And he created this AI that will allow them, instead of like working 4 hours on a single documentation, now they just take like 10 minutes. So I think AI is great for growth, but AI is really great for just systemizing your operations and making things move a lot smoother.
Very nice. And talking about Privacy Ninja, you invested in Privacy Ninja, you also invested in Social Jet.
Yeah.
So one thing which I wanted to ask, when you want to invest in companies, right, how do you value a company before investing in them?
Oh, I look at, okay, so I don't invest in every company. One is always look at the potential for growth. So why I invested in Privacy Ninja was that data protection is mandatory in Singapore. So every single company is a data protection officer. But obviously, most companies they don't even know about it. So I know in the long run, more and more companies will become aware and they will get on board. And also they were doing, half decent without any sort of marketing. So I knew if I came in, I'll be able to blow it up. Same for Social Jet. At that time, why I invested in it was because companies like Stera, Omnidesk, they were all blowing up because of influencers. And so I knew that I could work with Social Jet to have them grow, but not grow is because they can come back into the business that I'm building myself. Like all these businesses, they're all B2B because they all tie in and they support my main business. Like I'm a guy that I want to work with more businesses. And so if I invest in them, I help them grow, then I will have more businesses as my clients that I can sell to, right? And I can all eventually come on my platform. So like that is the game plan for me. And how I value them would be based on their profits with some multiples.
Mm-hmm. What's a typical multiple that you look at? Because I know, in terms of valuing companies, right, there's that, some look at the revenue, the annual revenue, some look at profits. What's your go-to metrics when you are valuing companies?
So I like to do a multiple on the profit. So when you invest in a business, equity is pretty worthless unless the company has cash flow, right? Like Kevin Wonderful, that's something I learned on Shark Tank. So when I just started, I was very obsessed with like getting more equity because I thought that was very cool. But I realized that is kind of a mistake because you don't get any cash from equity unless there is cash flow. So the first thing I'll look at is that how is the profits like? Because that's important because I need to know, am I going to get any cash? And when dividends come, am I going to get it? Because I need to recover my investment. Then the next thing I'll do is I'll structure the deal because I'm going to come in, I'm going to help them grow, right? I'm going to teach them how to sell. I'm going to do their ads and their funnels. I need to make sure that I'm getting cash out of sales. So I will structure a deal in a way where I'll get a percentage of every deal that is closed. So that's how I recoup my investment.
And for 2025, what's on the horizon for you? What type of businesses are you looking to invest in 2025?
No, I'm not going to invest in any businesses for a while. Because now I'm just my goal is to help more people understand this skill of growth hacking, of building funnels, of creating different kinds of ads. And they grow on their own first. And then after my secret intention is then I'll just pick the best, the people that I like the most, the ones that I see the most potential, and help them scale. Because now I've got 4 companies and I'm only 27. And honestly, at first I thought that was cool, but now I realize it's kind of draining me. Like, I don't want to have more companies on my portfolio right now, not now at least, right? Maybe in the next 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to invest in more companies this year. I want to help equip business owners, let them grow, and then maybe in the next 1 or 2 years, then I invest in them.
Makes sense. And I like your secret mission as well, like you say, which is not so secret anymore after this, which is when you coach them, you train them, and then when you see the right partners, because I also feel partnership is also important, right? So maybe one question about partnership, what character traits do you look at, right, before investing, not just in the company, but the partner makes an important element of the company as well, right? What character traits do you look at that you say makes a successful partner?
I think the most important thing is that you don't want to have an employee. You want to have a partner who wants growth. And that kind of sounds like no-brainer. All businesses want growth, but actually that's not the case. A lot of businesses, they want growth, but they don't really want growth. So if their business grow, great. If it doesn't, that's fine, as long as they feed their family. And I cannot be partners with somebody who is like that. And I have to say, hey, let's grow the company, let's do this, let's do that. And they're like, nah, there's a lot of work. So I think that's number one, where they've got to truly desire, and I mean like truly desire that growth, that whatever we tell them to do, they just get it done. So I'm very blessed. My partners, Joel and Andy, they're amazing. Like whatever I tell them, they just get it done straight away, which is why we have really good growth. So I think that's like the number one thing that they have got to desire the growth for their company more than I desire for their company.
And I also know that you speak or you train, you've got lots of speakers, coaches, and consultants that come for the implementation sprint that use the FCK funnel as well. And how do you think that, speakers, coaches, and consultants, right, can differentiate themselves from their competitors?
Well, I think for a start, most speakers, coaches, and consultants, they suck at marketing. So if you come, you know how to do it, you're already different. There's so many opportunities to be different in. One is also in your ads, right? Again, most people say the same thing on ads. Like you wanna, I don't know what they're saying. Like imagine you can get 6-figure, 7-figure capital gains. Imagine you can retire 10 to 15 years earlier. Imagine if you get rid of your back pain. Like everybody's saying the same thing. So the hooks that you throw in your ads can already be drastically different, right? By using different objects and by using your stories, your personal stories. So that adds one opportunity to be different. Your backstory, your hero's journey, that's another opportunity to be different. What you offer, right? The best way to do it, in the book, Play Bigger, Category Kings, they talk about the best way to be different is to solve a problem that people don't even know that they have. So you want to tell them like, look, all these solutions out there in the market, they do solve a problem, but it creates another problem and you don't even know about it. And so for me, I'm solving that so that other problem is also being solved. Like that's how we be different. We tell them all the solutions out there in the market, they're cool, but they create that problem and then we solve that problem.
Nice. And I think you've got an interesting framework as well, right? Which is I think offer, funnels, and what was the last
traffic.
one? I forgot. Traffic
And then close.
Is it am I saying in the right order?
Yeah.
Offer, funnel, traffic.
So it's first having the transformation offer.
Okay.
Not having a deliverables kind of offer. So the mistake is people, they charge based on the deliverables, like they charge based on $100 per hour, or they charge like because I write you 2 landing pages, so you pay me this amount of price. Now that's where you're a commodity, you compare with other people. A transformation offer is where you bring a big transformation to people and you charge them based on a transformation. So if I help you make 50 grand, I take 10 grand, that's very little, right? And then I'm more expensive than my competitors already. So that's offer, a transformation offer. And then a funnel, that's where you've got your one-to-many or your one-to-one funnels, and then traffic, your ads. Now that's where you create ads that are different, right? Not basic, boring ads. And I'm not talking about those kind where, the ball hit your face and then you fall on the ground and you start talking shit. I'm talking about like really...
I've seen those kind of...
different kind of... Like that at one time, it was different, but now that's not different already. So I'm not talking about that kind. And then so anyway, like my ads, how I'd be different. I'll be wearing barista caps. I'll be cooking. I'd be making coffee. I'd be in Alaska. I'd be in Korea walking around talking about cars and everything. So different kinds of ads. And then closing one-to-one and closing one-to-many. So that is the framework.
I mean, I love that framework because it's, it's very much in line with what I created at the GrowCast Show as well, which is, a lot of people focus on just ads, right? So I think I shared with you before. So what we do is we talk about authority, we do ads, and then we do the AI part of it as well. And after attending the implementation sprint, if you haven't attended, you must attend Caleb's implementation sprint. I'm going to leave a link down later. We can talk a little bit about that. But I got also inspired to want to help real estate agents and insurance agents to take control of their own marketing, because I realized that, hey, a lot of them, they are dependent on marketing agencies like you mentioned as well, right? So how do you think that real estate agents and insurance agents, right? Or why do you think real estate agents and insurance agents, right, should take control of their own marketing?
Oh, because they have to feed their family. If you engage a marketing agency, whether or not you get results, their families will be fed. But if you don't get results, you will feed their family while your family will not be fed. And a lot of times, these marketing agencies out there, they don't really know what they're doing. They've never really sold any products in their life. So they're just helping, create that simple ads. And if you don't, I'm not saying you cannot work with someone else, right? Because eventually you shouldn't be doing anything on your own. But if you don't understand what makes an ad good, you don't understand your numbers, you don't understand if you're profitable or not, and if you're not, you don't understand why, then you can't do anything. Whatever the agency tells you, you just got to accept that and say, oh, my life sucks. My business is not growing. That's why I think everybody, not just these people in these niches that you mentioned, but every business owner who seriously wants to grow, you've got to master this skill. And there's no two ways about it.
And I think also there's been a rise in marketing agencies recently, right? And I don't know whether I'm going to get some flick for saying it, because, the barrier to entry to be a digital marketer is so easy. You can go for a Skills Future course, you can go for a NTUC course, and then, you can be certified as a digital marketer, and then you can charge $500 a month kind of thing. So I need to make sure I need to see later whether I need to block this part out of the interview. But then I realized the barrier to entry to become a digital marketer is so low nowadays that, it becomes, that's when people get bad results. So So from your experience, how does someone who is new to marketing, right? How do they differentiate between a good marketing agency and a not so good marketing agency?
Oh, you see their marketing. Look at how the marketing agencies are marketing themselves. I think that's the main thing. Look at how they're marketing themselves. Obviously, well, case studies is one thing, but you really want to see the way they market themselves and see if you feel compelled to them. If you feel compelled to them, then well, maybe they do know how to market. If the marketing is boring, it's not interesting at all, then I wouldn't bother working with them.
I think would you also say that I think the case study is also one thing which I think is very, very important. But I think a lot of people who are doing marketing, right, you got to practice what you preach, because if you say one thing and you do another, then that's obviously not incongruent already. So I would say, would you agree that practicing what they preach is a very important element of being a good marketing agency?
Of course, you got to be able to get yourself your own clients. If not, how do you help other people or how do you teach other people clients? So what I do, maybe you can say I'm biased, is look at that marketer. Does he have another business that he's actually actively growing? Well, and is his marketing agency successful? Because the marketing agency is not successful. He doesn't have any other business. Don't go anywhere near this guy. I mean, whatever he tells you, you do the exact opposite.
Yeah, very nice. And for yourself, Caleb, I know you just got a new property with your girlfriend as well, right? So tell us a bit more about what's your plan with the new property purchase that you just got.
Well, so I'm not a property guy. I'm not a finance guy. The only thing I know in my life is business and boxing, these two things. So I have no clue about all other investment opportunities. And I personally feel that the Singapore property market is like too high. I don't feel I'm getting great value on it, but I still need a place to stay. So I'm just thinking, okay, how can I make this property free, right? If I'm going to buy a property, I want to make it free because there's a lot of money, a lot of money down and a lot of money that we have to pay. And again, we've got no handouts from anybody. So I was thinking, okay, how do I make this property free? Because I really believe that we can have everything we want in life for free if we help other people get what they want. So I thought like, okay, why don't I turn this into a story? We talk about backstory. So now I just created a backstory for my girlfriend as an agent, where as a young couple, she asked we can skip the BTO. We didn't have to wait, right? Because if you skip, so it's always contrasting the old way and the new way. You go for a BTO, you got to wait 5, 10, 15 years before you can sell it. And even if you make a $300,000 profit, you wait 10 or 15 years later, it's just a little bit of money every year. Barely any growth, right? But with a private property in just 3 years, you can get probably the same amount of capital gains in that short span of 3 years. And we want to show them that actually it is very possible for young couples like us, first-time buyers, to be able to get our own private property. So what my plan is to build this, launch it, which we are a couple of weeks away from launching, and by the time we TOP, hopefully we get the property in 3 years, is to sell enough properties so that this entire investment is free. Then whether it rise or not, I don't have to care. I just want to get it for free.
And I'm pretty sure it will, because like what you said, the origin story is so powerful, right? That people can relate to it as well. And I think we're just about nearing the end of today's episode, but I do have one important question, which is, what is the best business advice, Caleb, that you have ever gotten?
You see, the thing about business and having mentors is that very rarely there will be one sentence or one word that will change everything for you. It is in the doing every day and creating these habits that last and stay for a lifetime. And then it just changes the way you approach everything that you do. So off my head, I really cannot think of that one particular advice. I could think of a couple of quotes, but if based on the way I act, I run my businesses now, it's not based on any one advice, but it's really based on building habits and just doing the work every day.
And maybe if I could, maybe the getting advice question was a bit different, but I think this one, the next question might be something which I think you will be able to do, because you speak, you coach so many people, right? You coach so many of them hands on, right? And different people come to you at different levels as well. What is the best business advice you would give to somebody who's coming to you for coaching?
It's okay. So the context is this: the biggest reason people don't get results is always in the mind, right? So I guess if there's one best business advice, is by one of my mentors who said that success is 90% mindset and 10% tactics. So everybody who comes for the sprint know the tactics already, but not everybody is gonna get results. Why? Is because in the mind, that's where they start to tell themselves like, oh, what if I lose money? What if this doesn't work? What if this? What if that? I'm not tech savvy. I'm not good enough. And my advice would be, it doesn't matter how you feel. I probably get flack about this, but mental health is becoming very popular now in the world. But sometimes how you feel doesn't matter. If you got to feed yourself, you got to feed your family, you got to feed your employees, how you feel doesn't matter. You just got to do what you got to do. It doesn't matter if you're afraid. If you think it's not going to work, you have responsibilities. You're a business owner. As a business owner, you're a prime mover. You carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. How you feel doesn't matter. You just got to do what you do and move in spite of all the fears. And then when things start to fall into place, you realize like, oh, that wasn't that bad. Because every time before I step in the ring, I'm scared as hell. And I always want to back out. But again, I have an obligation to stand in and fight for the duration that we have. And after I finish, I'm like, hey, it wasn't that bad. Right? So I think it's the same in business. We have to move in spite of how we feel. and just get things done because there are people that depend on us.
I think I love that. And any fights coming up for 2025?
The fight is in the business world. I don't have the hunger and because you need the hunger for this. I just did an exhibition fight, and it went well. But even then I was like terrified. So at this point, this year probably not, but next year we'll see. If I can hit all my business goals this year, I'll go back to boxing again.
Very nice. So if you want to see Caleb in the ring, then you got to help him to hit his business goals. So Caleb, if somebody wants to find out a bit more about you, NFCK and your company, and learn more from you, what's the best place to reach out to you? So maybe for this one, if you could just look into the camera over there and then share where's the best place to reach out to you.
Well, the best place to reach out would be on caleb.cmo at Instagram. Something I'm actively trying to build now. Okay, not actively. I'm building.
Hopefully the content today should help with that as well. So I'll do that up for you.
I think caleb.cmo at Instagram. I am going to have a personal website coming up, calebsim.com. But you don't really have to come and find me. I'll find you on wherever you are. Whether you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on YouTube, I will look for you. I will find you because I have a particular set of skills that I've honed over a long time.
And yes, so if you haven't seen Caleb's ads on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or anywhere on social media, then you're probably hiding inside a shell somewhere because you should be seeing him everywhere. Almost every other ad that I see right now is from Caleb. And then is there a way you can turn me off from the ad because I'm already part of the community and I've already gotten so much value? But I just love seeing his ads because, you've got so much variety, you've got so much creativity. And the thing about marketers, I think you mentioned this, is we all have an obsession for marketing, right? We love to see new ads. So my wife keeps telling me to, because I've got a 15-month-old, right? So she bought YouTube Premium and she tells me to turn off to make mine also YouTube Premium. I say no, because I love seeing ads every single day so that I can learn from them as well. So I think today was amazing. Any last thoughts or any last anything that I should have asked you that I didn't ask, or anything else that you would like to end off with?
Okay, one more on the best advice I think for business owners and coaches, whoever starting out, is you gotta be obsessed. You gotta be obsessed. Like the obsession that you had that led you to find the solution which you now provide to people, that is great. But that's not gonna help you grow your business. The next obsession that you've got to develop is in learning how to market and sell your solution. So an opposite of obsession is dabbler, right? You try this marketing, then maybe the first time you don't get results and you say, this is not for me, this is too difficult. An opposite is where you're so obsessed that it doesn't matter what happens. You can fail, you can lose money, you can spend on coaching and you don't get results. But it's like, this is the only way for you to achieve what you want to achieve in life. And you put all your effort, all your resources into starting this and making this work. So I think obsession is what everybody needs. So again, act in spite of your fears, in spite of how you feel, and be obsessed and go for whatever you want to go for.
I love that. And I think that's an amazing end to today's episode. That was episode 70. I hope all of you enjoyed today's episode at the GrowCast Show. And 30 more episode to episode 100. I'm looking forward to that. And I'll talk to you real soon at episode 71. Cheers, take care, and bye-bye.